Good evening, folks, and welcome to this magical and amazing Thursday show here on FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Aaron Trey here to open up the floor with the nice sun above Doak Campbell Stadium there, where it is currently 79 degrees under that mostly sunny skies there. A few of those cumulus, especially a lot better from what we've seen this morning with those showers throughout the area. We have that wind also out of the south at 15. So across much of the area, we're seeing those temperatures still pretty up there, though, with those warmer temperatures. So 79 around the metro area in Tallahassee, 82 Monticello, and 79 up in Thomasville. Radar is dry compared to what we've been this morning because we had those showers streaming in from the south there this morning. However, now all those have kind of went off towards the northeast or so and carrying along that any chance of those stronger cells or two as there was this morning. So those headlines for tonight: stormy around town today, clearing for the weekend, recapping the record flooding in South Florida, which is pretty devastating from some of the video and footage from down there, and also roasting northeast and how long will summer temperatures persist. All that more at FSU Weather.
Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Priscilla Vijalta, and welcome to your Thursday edition of FSU Weather. As Aaron mentioned, we did have some storms this morning. Lucky for me, I kind of slept in a little bit, so I had a nice trickling of rain outside my window as I drifted back to sleep this morning, which was very nice, I will say. But not so nice for some other people down in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale. There was a near record of up to 26 inches of rain, which is quite a lot. Some flooding down there, definitely lots of rainfall, flash flooding, very problematic, especially for that area down there. But for the rest of the show, we're going to talk about some severe weather in the plains, and then also the heat in the Northeast. I actually was in Boston less than a month ago, and it was snowing, which is kind of crazy because I heard around this week it was roughly around 80 degrees, which is quite hot and quite a difference. So what else can we look forward to the show? We've got some rain in Florida this weekend. I know I have some weekend plans. I'm going home to Jacksonville to go and see a wedding, but it could cause some issues for me driving back to Tallahassee on Sunday. As well, for anyone else traveling this weekend, there will be lots of rain on the interstates, and so just make sure you're aware of that rainfall, especially because those darker skies can make you a little bit more drowsy. But now for the rest of the show, Nico, what's it looking like for our local?
Yes, thank you, Priscilla. Yeah, we are going to have to deal with yet another system as we move into Sunday, so we won't have much of a break between them, but the system that went through today has now cleared through the area. It's sunny, 79 degrees, and you can see out at Doak Campbell Stadium right now, you got the sun getting ready to set, and it's pretty clear. I don't expect us to have any more rain this evening. And despite the rain, it was an above average day. It was 82, so we did still stay slightly above average. We're not anywhere near the record high of 92, and obviously nowhere near the record low of 30. It was a low of 67, which is a summer-like low. But we do, as you move northeast into some parts of southern Georgia, you do still have a slight risk out in this part of Georgia. Pretty much anywhere northeast of Thomasville and Madison. The line has moved pretty far northeast, so it's more up in here now, but if you're out and you know people in parts of southern Georgia or along the Florida coast, then they have to worry about damaging winds and potentially a brief tornado and even some hail. I've seen a few reports of some hail further off to the east. But right now around Tallahassee, we're pretty much around 80 degrees, give or take, area-wide. At 79 in Tallahassee, 82 in Monticello, and 79 in Thomasville. You do have your cooler temperatures of 75 degrees on Apalachicola, where the sea breeze has moved in. But as you can see, the dew points, they're a little bit lower now than they were earlier in the day when we did have the moisture and the rain come through. Our dew points are now in the low 60s. Earlier this morning, they were in the upper 60s, and that's when we had the rain come through. But it is still pretty muggy. As you can see, here's the feature that's creating the main area of rain. We're getting outer bands from a low pressure system that moved ashore near Mobile, Alabama early this morning before any of us woke up. And here's where the line of storms is at now, pretty much extending from inland southeastern Georgia all the way down to South Florida, Fort Lauderdale has a storm on top of them, which is not what they need right now, so hopefully that can clear out quickly. It doesn't look like it will, but hopefully it does. But we've had a few severe thunderstorm warnings. I see one in inland southeast Georgia right about here, pretty far northeast of here, so we shouldn't have to worry about that in Florida. But if you know people out there, definitely let them know. As you look around Tallahassee, though, the radar has completely cleared. It's going to be a nice evening to get out and about. And as you continue to look at the futurecast, it does cool off tonight. You may have a few isolated showers way out west of Mariana, but we are expected to get to the low 60s, maybe a few isolated showers as you walk to your morning classes in the morning. But other than that, tomorrow should be a pretty nice day, and it shouldn't amount to much rain. As you head into Saturday, it gets a little bit drier, so we should be fine on Saturday. But then as you head later into the weekend, we do expect more rain. As you look at the week ahead, your highest threat of storms is on Sunday. We'll have to watch the potential for severe weather with that again. And then we warm up as we head toward the end of the week with temperatures near 85 degrees by Thursday and Wednesday. Now I'm going to pass things off to Parker.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. So I'm going to take a look at Florida, or Florida. Here we have our Florida cameras. Gainesville looking nice and sunny with blue skies, partly cloudy conditions persisting there. Orlando, much of the same, but we've got some rainfall out in the distance. Daytona Beach and Miami getting some rain up and down the coast with cloudy skies around. But the Storm Prediction Center has an outlook for day one where we have our slight risk all the way down the coast from Miami all the way up to Duval County and Jacksonville, and then a marginal risk for our more inland areas, and then a chance at some rain for southwest Florida and for west Central Florida. Now, we do have some active alerts right now. We have a severe thunderstorm watch from Brevard County all the way up to Duval County, including Orange and Seminole and parts of our inland counties near Central Florida. So this watch goes until tonight at 10 p.m., which it will then expire. Now I'm going to step off really quick to show you the setup for today. We have that low pressure system that Nico was talking about that's centralized over Mississippi right now. We have a surface low, that's what the black dotted line indicates there, and then a warm front moving through. So right behind that warm front, we have showers popping up all the way up and down the coast from Miami all the way up into parts of Georgia, extending all the way to Atlanta. And we can see much of that throughout much of the night because we have that severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 10 p.m. later this evening. Let's dive a little bit closer and see what we've got going down near Miami. There's a severe thunderstorm warning going on right there with the red box that's indicated. So some heavy rain. They saw nearly 26 inches of rain in Fort Lauderdale yesterday, and they're accumulating even more at this moment. If we look towards our Central Florida regions, we see that severe thunderstorm watch that I was indicating, and we have some showers popping up like popcorn all the way throughout the region and moving their way eastward. And if we broaden it out a little bit more, we see that Tallahassee has blue skies, no clouds about, all the way throughout the Big Bend region, and then off again to our east in Duval County, we have showers passing through there. But current conditions around the state right now, 81 in Key West, 82 in Tampa, 79 up here in Tallahassee, and 75 in Jacksonville. Orlando, the hot spot at 84 on the map for tonight. Our future radar indicates that we're going to have some showers moving primarily from west to east across the state overnight into tomorrow at about midday, 12 p.m. And it's going to continue to do that same thing, and then we'll clear up by morning on Saturday. Future rainfall estimates and accumulations show Orlando, West Palm, and Miami having the most at about a quarter inch of rain. And for our 3-day in Miami, we've got 83 degrees, nice weekend. Tampa also a nice weekend, hot up there, 89 degrees. Orlando at 91. Jacksonville at 87 on Saturday. And Pensacola, 79, capping off for the weekend. I'm going to pass it over to Priscilla with a look at the southeast.
Yes, thank you, Parker. So taking a look at our southeast cameras, right now we've got some clouds looking over into Charlotte, North Carolina, Clemson. Tampa's looking very clear. I know lots of people have very exciting plans for Tampa this weekend and heading down to the Taylor Swift concert. Wish I was there, but instead I get to do this wonderful Thursday show for you all. Taking a look across the southeast, we see the Storm Prediction Center outlook has marginal, severe, and slight risk warnings for much of the southeast, including the entire state of Florida, Alabama, Georgia, parts of Mississippi, South Carolina, and North Carolina. So lots of storms affecting these areas. Definitely something to be aware of if you're traveling this weekend or trying to plan any outdoor activities. Currently, over our temperatures, we're seeing a little bit of a cool spot over here in Mississippi, Jackson, 59, but the rest of the area is looking very hot. We're seeing 80-degree temperatures in Tampa and just generally in the mid to upper 70s, hitting 84 in Orlando, 76 in Charlotte. So it's somewhat mild, but also pretty warm as we do see those orange and red colors. And there we go, taking a look at our surface map again. As Parker mentioned, we've got that high pressure, the low pressure in Mississippi, where we see that rotation is really extending these bands of storms throughout the entire southeast, primarily affecting the eastern coast of Florida as well as parts of Georgia and South Carolina. Taking a closer look into Georgia, we see that large line of storms where there's lots of even severe rainfall accumulating. Definitely something to be aware of if you're going to be traveling on the I-75 corridor or the I-16. And look at that, we even got a severe thunderstorm warning until today at 6:15. So that's in Long and Tattnall counties. So if you're in those areas, make sure you're aware of that. Stay indoors. Try not to really head outside too much. And again, our upper level water vapor, again showing that circular rotation and lots of moisture in the air. Future radar, again, shows those storms as we're heading through the weekend, but things will tend to clear up around Saturday, and as such, rainfall totals not really passing up to 1 inch of rain, but you know, Nico, what's it looking like for the weekend soaker that we're talking about?
So yeah, unfortunately, it seems like we're going to get even more rain for most of the southeast. And taking a look at this water vapor map, you can actually really tell the boundary of the front. And with this trough of dry air right behind the boundary of the front here, you can actually see the dry line right here on the water vapor. So all that water vapor that's here in the middle of the country at this point is going to be making its way east and unfortunately bringing some severe weather to the Great Plains and some rain to the south. So the WPC flood potential, basically anywhere from St. Louis all the way down south following the Mississippi River down to New Orleans, is under a marginal flood potential for Saturday. So if you guys are in this region or live close to any major rivers such as the Mississippi or the Pearl River in Jackson, please make sure that you are prepared for some extensive flooding. As for our future radar, on to Saturday, most of that rain is going to be hugging. The worst part of the rain is going to be hugging the Gulf Coast from New Orleans all the way over to Pensacola and Mobile, Alabama. We might get over about a couple inches on Saturday here in the Gulf Coast region, and then that's going to make its way out east, and another band of rain will make its way from New Orleans, again going eastward towards Tallahassee. So we will get some rain, and even more than what we've been getting in these past couple days. And unfortunately, eastern parts of Florida will get even more precipitation. They have already been getting very significantly affected with flooding. Just the amount of moisture that's in the area is definitely not helping the cause out here. So here are the rainfall forecasts expected. So as I was saying earlier, most of it's going to be hugging the Gulf Coast, the panhandle of Florida, in parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and New Orleans is expected to get about an inch on Saturday over the weekend. Tallahassee about half an inch. And as you go farther north in Jackson, a little bit more than half an inch. And then down in Miami, once again, they're going to be getting a lot more rain over the weekend, about another half an inch of rain. So as for Atlanta, Georgia, as you can see on Friday, it's going to be stormy. Then it's going to clear up a little bit on Saturday. And then once again, on Sunday, more rain will come. And then Mobile, Alabama, they're going to get hit pretty hard from Saturday to Sunday with over 90% chance of rain. And then in New Orleans, which is where most of the worst part of this storm is going to be, on Saturday, it's going to be a total rainout with an 100% chance of rain. Now I'm going to throw it over to the desk with Parker and Aaron to talk about all the severe flooding in South Florida.
That's right. Thank you, Nico. We've seen a significant videos, of course, from South Florida showing all the flooding that's been occurring there with upwards of 20 inches plus that are falling over the past 24 to 36 hours or so.
Yeah, we've had a lot of rainfall fall in particularly the Fort Lauderdale area and the surrounding areas, such as Miami Gardens and Boca Raton, they saw lots of rain. As you see right here, we have the recap where we had the radar. One singular supercell dropped 21 inches is what our model's saying, but other models have predicted up to 26
That's
inches
nearly,
of rain.
oh, sorry. That is nearly 2 feet of rain that fell in one sitting there just between Fort Lauderdale and Ravenwood Estates there. And it actually even still is shutting down the airport there in Fort Lauderdale. So if you're traveling, it might affect plans if you're heading out the airport there.
Yeah, I checked Twitter this morning and I saw that a lot of the streets in downtown Fort Lauderdale had cars still in the streets, and there were still copious amounts of water in the streets. No one could go to work this morning.
That's right, and that will continue. It's actually been continuing over the course of the day today with even more rain that's just been dumping and dumping buckets upon buckets. It's certainly not a very long shower there, so to speak, for Fort Lauderdale there, and unfortunately, of course, it's going to be affecting many people. But of course, we'll also talk about flood safety too. During a flood, you should never drive or walk into flooded waters.
Yeah, and with that note, Broward County Schools actually canceled today, so that's great. Less people on the roads, right? Turn around, don't drown. And if we're told to evacuate, we have to do so immediately. Like last night, there was an emergency flash flood warning. People were out on the streets. Best place to go is indoors, even though rain might have gotten into their homes.
That's right, and speaking of flash flood emergencies too, those are rarely issued by the National Weather Service as well, only for specific circumstances like what occurred yesterday in Fort Lauderdale. But as well, you want to make sure you get information from your local TV and radio as well. That way you can get those alerts that can be very important, like on your phone or on TV or radio as well, that really would potentially could save your life.
Yep, on your phone, if you go to your settings and then you turn on government alerts, you'll get all of those. Right. The emergency flash flood warnings. There's also a tornado warning on top of that last night. So really everything right on top of Fort Lauderdale last night. But for now, we're going to send things over to Nico on the wall to take a look at the roasting Northeast.
Yes, thank you, Parker and Aaron. We definitely do need to be worried about our friends in South Florida with the flooding, but now to go to the Northeast, the first thing that pops out is 90 degrees in Hartford, Connecticut. Tallahassee has not yet had their first 90-degree day, so you know that it's hotter than normal up here when you see temperatures like that. These temperatures are 10 degrees warmer than what we're seeing in Florida. Summer-like temperatures across parts of the Northeast today, ahead of a cold front, and it's very dry, so this is a dry heat. So this is allowing the temperature to get pretty much as hot as it possibly can with little to no moisture across the area, as this does end up warming up a lot. But the other problem with these low relative humidities is the fire danger. You always have to worry about fire danger when you have low humidity and high temperatures, because that is good conditions for fires. So definitely be careful and aware of that. And as you get into tonight across the Northeast, you can see our low temperatures in the mid-50s in the inland Northeast, but closer to the coast in the mid-60s, 67 degrees in New York. This is the time of year that you would typically have these lows in Florida, not in New York. This is probably about what you're normally seeing for your high temperature at this time of the year. And then tomorrow, although not quite as hot as today, 87 in Hartford, Connecticut, 83 degrees in New York City. This is still well above average for the Northeast. So if you have any plans out and about across anywhere in the Northeast, really even Philadelphia near 80, anywhere in the Northeast, you need to be aware that it is going to be much warmer than what you would normally expect. So go out as you would normally dress for summertime the next couple days. And then Saturday morning, along the coast near Boston, you do start to get some relief from the heat, but inland, you don't really get much. It's still in the mid-60s and the mid-50s inland and the rest of the Northeast. So even into Saturday, you're still having these warm conditions. And looking at your 3-day or 5-day forecast for New York, hot on Friday again. This will be near record highs. And then the cold front starts to affect you on Saturday, and you can see your temperatures start to cool off. As you get to Tuesday, by the time you're on Tuesday, it's going to be 58 degrees. So 30 degrees colder than what you're seeing today. Philadelphia, you have the same story. You may have some thunderstorms with the passage on Saturday, and then by Tuesday, 59 degrees. You're nearly 30 degrees colder than what you were. Washington, D.C., it's not quite as hot to start, but it stays hot longer. And then as you head to Tuesday, Tuesday ends up being pretty cool and about 20 degrees cooler than tomorrow. But now I'm going to pass things off to Nico.
Yeah, so right now I'm going to be talking about the severe weather that's currently forecasted to hit the Midwest. But right now, actually, looking at our live cams from Iowa City, from Dallas, and from Tulsa, it's actually looking pretty beautiful. So if you are out in the Midwest right now, I would say to go out today if you have any activities that you want to do, because this weekend is definitely going to be not so good conditions to go outside. So as you can see, the SPC storm outlook for day 2 has most of the Midwest, actually most of the Great Plains, sorry, in non-severe to marginal risk, while parts of Kansas and Nebraska from Omaha down to Wichita are under a slight risk from the SPC, meaning that there will be expected some severe thunderstorms, especially in that region. And as for the SPC damaging wind probability, meaning that they expect there to be winds of over 59 miles per hour, especially in the regions of Kansas between Topeka and Wichita. There's about a 15% probability of severe winds. And for the rest, all the way from Dallas to Omaha, there's about a 5% probability of these damaging winds. Also, another thing to note in these severe thunderstorm cases is the SPC hail probability. So right now, for the outlook for Omaha all the way down to Wichita, there's a 15% chance of hail, which is 1 inch in diameter. And for the rest from Dallas to Omaha, it's about a 5% chance. So now you can see here we have our radar basically overlapped with our CAPE forecast. And here you can see that there's actually a lot of CAPE available. So what that means, CAPE stands for convectively available potential energy. And what that tells us is the amount of fuel that is available for these storms to grow and become severe. So now you would think with all this CAPE here in the Midwest, in the Great Plains, you would think that a lot of severe weather will pop up on the radar. But that's not the case, because there's actually a lot of SIN, or CAP, which is convective inhibition, that is not allowing these thunderstorms to grow because they're not able to surpass the energy needed to break the cap. Now, as for the rainfall forecasts that we have for the Great Plains, Topeka has about 1 inch of rain expected to fall. Omaha, a little bit less than 1 inch at 0.78. Hastings at 0.73. And a little bit farther south, they expect some less precipitation. And so if you are in these regions of the Great Plains, please make sure to have your severe weather prep ready. Make sure to have access to information like the radio, have flashlights in case of power outages, and have a copy of your emergency plan and communication. So now I'm going to pass it off to Aaron with a look at the lifestyle.
That's right. So as we come back closer to Florida here, at Panama City, Lake Bradford, Sportsplex, and St. George Island, all beautiful, at least compared to how we were this morning with all those showers coming through. But right now, we only have those fair weather cumulus clouds just streaming in over the area. So gorgeous, gorgeous if you're out there enjoying the day outside right now. So if you're heading out the door for College Town tonight, make sure you do perhaps be aware that those temperatures will stay down or only go down into the low 60s tonight, as we have still that kind of muggy or that muggier air in place at the surface at least. So no need for a jacket tonight, and rain chances only upwards of less than 20%, so not very precipitous. If you look at the backyard forecast here, so if you're going to spend perhaps some time near the pool, or if you're going to go out and grill, 81 degrees tomorrow with those AM showers possible, not very copious over the day tomorrow, so it should stay really nice and really pleasant. And as for that beach forecast, if you're going tomorrow to Panama City, also looking really pleasant there with mostly sunny skies, mid-70s, water temp at 70 degrees and slowly rising. It's getting there. It'll get warm one of these days here over the next month or so. But do make sure you do mind the high rip current risk, as if you ever do get caught in a rip current, make sure you swim parallel to the coast and then towards the coast, because you don't want to fight against a rip current. And here actually are those alerts there. So we have that small craft advisory in effect for much of the Emerald Coast and over back towards the Forgotten Coast there around East Point, Apalachicola, over to Panama City and Destin there. So do watch out for that. If you are going to go out to FSU softball here, again, you might have to watch that rain on Saturday. Same thing for the baseball as well, and over in Durham, North Carolina. And if you have gotten bit by the football bug and want to get some Knoll spirit this weekend, you have that football preseason game there here at Doak Campbell Stadium.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. So now we're going to take a look around town, see what else is going on. Right now we've got our live look over Doak Campbell Stadium. Sunset is later and later in the day, so that sun is still high and bright in the sky. It's currently 70 degrees, and it's a little bit breezy, especially it's a little bit drier, so you really feel those breezes more in your face. So that's what I think at least. Current temperatures sitting around the high 70s, 79, 78, a little cooler by the coast, 75 in Apalachicola, but as you move more inland, you're seeing those 80s and 81-degree temperatures. Current radar, absolutely clear, not a storm in the sky except off to our northeast where those rain showers are really affecting Georgia and up into South Carolina currently. As for our futurecast, it's going to be cool overnight, reaching around 62 in Tallahassee, but as you move throughout the day, it's going to warm up a little bit, and again, that possibility for those morning showers. But as you head throughout the rest of the weekend, clear skies, it's cool down through the mornings, and warmer in the daytime. So tonight in Tallahassee, it's going to be raining a little bit later, so it's a little unfortunate, 62 degrees and some winds. So maybe stay inside, perhaps not the best to get out because it will be raining and just probably not the best or ideal conditions. As for the week ahead, again, we've got those storms this weekend, 80% of chance with lightning on Sunday. So make sure you're aware of that. We're reaching mid-80s most of our highs this week, so it's going to be pretty warm, but it's a nice surprise to see some 50s for our lows to wake up to in the morning. I know it's nice for me to put on a little jacket and pretend that it's cold when really it's not. But again, for the rest of the week, it's going to be sunny with very low chance of rain. But, you know, that was our show this weekend. Nico and Nico. How was the show? What did you think?
Oh, I think, yeah, so there's a lot of rain in many parts of the country expected. As we've seen in South Florida, there's been actually some devastating flooding. Later on this weekend, there's going to be some severe weather in the Great Plains. So as for people here in Tallahassee, I think if you guys are looking for something fun to do and something that's actually indoors to get out of the rain, I would recommend that you guys come watch the FSU Flying High Circus this weekend. If you guys want to watch me walk the tightrope or you want to watch me do some cool juggling tricks, come out and see us this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. What about you, Nico? Have you ever gone to see the circus?
I have not, but I want to go at some point, and maybe a good day to go would be on Sunday with the storms if people are looking for something indoors to do, or going after the spring football game, which is on Saturday and should be a warm one to be at.
Yeah, we got lucky there with the football game that is definitely not going to be rained out. Luckily, most of the rain is going to be on Sunday. So yeah, I think you should definitely come by and see us on Sunday because it's gonna be a good experience.
If I'm not chasing, I may have to check it out. But you can always follow us on Twitter at www.twitter.com/FSUweather.
And you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSUweather.
You can always watch us live on YouTube, youtube.com/FSUweather like you are right now.
And you can follow us on Instagram at FSUweather and send us any cool photos that you think we should post.
Yeah, any cool photos you get at a safe location, we'd love to see them. And we also have a TikTok that we've been advertising if you want to follow us on that too. But now I'm going to pass things off to the wall with Parker for one last look at our 7-day to close out the show.
Yeah, so one last look at the 7-day here for you. Friday, going to wake up with those chances of thunderstorms in the morning primarily, and then we're going to clear out in time for our Saturday. And then Sunday, we've got those storms at 80% stormy weather. Look at that. Monday, Tuesday, clearing up just in time for the work week with temperatures around the 75-degree mark. I've been meteorologist Parker Beasley. From all of us here at FSU Weather, have a fantastic night, Tallahassee.